The remarkable career of Ian Ferguson reads like a story from a sporting novel. He is the epitome of the local boy who supported his club all his life, then went on to win an incredible 23 medals in the League Cup, Scottish Cup and League Championship.
Wheatley lays it on, it's Ferguson! That is a brilliant goal by Rangers!
But like many other boys, his glittering career began in the streets of Glasgow.
If you're going to go right back to the beginning, it was when we used to play in the streets in Parkhead, and I was one of the youngest boys there, and I used to play like 11-a-sides with the older boys, and I used to get kicked up and down the place, and that's when I knew I wanted to play football.
Ian's determination was noticed in primary school, and he was spotted by scouts from Aberdeen Boys Club who were recruiting in Glasgow.
Ian Ferguson had just taken over Aberdeen at the time, and he was trying to get a boys' club from Glasgow, and he introduced me to Mr Beck, Sam Beck and Mr John Thompson, and things just went from there. You know, I played from, I think it was under 11s right through to under 18s with these boys.
But at 16, mainly due to his slight physique, Ian was called into Alex Ferguson's office to hear the news that every young player dreads.
Well, I was actually released from Aberdeen when I was 16. Alex had, he was good about it. He's got decisions to make, and just said I wasn't up to the standard what he was looking for, and I just got on with it. You know, there's no use crying about it, and come back down to work in Durham Moors as a van boy, and also in the factory, and they had run a football team, and it was a man called Dougie Liddell who actually recommended me to Mr Dunn, who was I think he was a director at the time with Clyde, and Mr Dunn came and watched us, and he told me to report to Shawfield Stadium to meet Mr Craig Brown, and that's how it all came about.
At Clyde, Ian learned quickly, and his hunger for success soon paid dividends.
Craig Brown put me in the reserves, and then within, I think it was about 7 or 8 games, actually gave me a chance in the first team. John McVeigh was there, Paul Flexney, Stevie Evans. You know, it was great, just learning for these boys, and it's a learning process, and if you listen and do what the most experienced players tell you, then there'll not be a problem. And as long as you've got a good attitude and you want to win and you're hungry for the success, then you'll do okay.
Ian spent 2 successful years at Clyde before the manager of St Mirren, Alex Miller, decided to sign him in 1986 for £65,000. The location of the signing was to be prophetic.
It was Alex Miller who bought me, and funny enough signed in the Blue Room at Ibrox. It was right after a Scotland game, and signed there, and Alex was great, gave me all the encouragement that I needed. Paid, I think it was a lot of money for St Mirren, it was like 60,000-70,000, and I've never looked back.
Soon after, Alex Miller left for Hibs and was succeeded by Alex Smith, who quickly realised the worth of his young player.
He had this natural aggression and will and ambition to be a player. He had a great ambition to be successful. He also had a big opportunity when he left Clyde to go to Liverpool, when Kenny Dalglish was the manager, and he actually turned Kenny Dalglish in Liverpool down because he wanted first-team football. I felt that was an amazing decision from a young lad, and one of the most vivid memories of Ian Ferguson was my first training session when I asked Jimmy Bone to take the players down, and I went down and here's this young bleached-haired lad running about, being so aggressive, and being aggressive to people like Frank McGarvey, who was, to my mind, earned himself the title of being a bit of a legend. And I asked who the young lad was, and Jimmy told me it was a young lad, Ferguson, so that gave me an insight as to his character. Now, you would have normally thought that was maybe a bit of cheek for a young player to speak to a senior pro like that, but not in his case. It was like that with everybody else, and everybody liked him because of that, because of his aggression. And he led on the field. He was only 19, and he was a leader at that age.
In 1987, these qualities helped a young St Mirren side to go all the way to Hampden in the Scottish Cup. Ian's contribution was immense, scoring in every round of the competition.
It's Ian Ferguson who's taken the responsibility. And Ferguson makes it at the second attempt. After that, excellent save from David Wiley. It's McDowell looking for Chalmers. Chalmers is through. A great chance now for St Mirren. Can he make it? Yes! Paul Chalmers with the third for St Mirren. And just look at the jubilation of these St Mirren players. Natural left foot. There's Ian Ferguson. He's away from Henry Smith. Great chance for St Mirren. Brilliant play from Ferguson. St Mirren are in the lead.
His contribution to that game was immense. The goal he scored, for instance, he struck the ball from a very acute angle into the net with his left foot. And again, it was his determination to score and his skill, of course, which was coming out more and more every game he played. And in that particular game, it was a tremendous finish, and it set us up to go on and win the game, actually.
St Mirren's opponents in the final, Dundee United, had proved their ability by reaching the final of the UEFA Cup that season. Few people gave the young Paisley side, who fielded 5 19-year-olds, much chance of victory.
That was one of my worst games, was the Scottish Cup, believe it or not. You know, I wasn't involved that much in the game up until we went into extra time, and that's when I really started to feel as if I was playing a wee bit.
Ferguson was always a goal threat. Him and McDowell could put the best defenders under immense pressure. They never gave them a minute. They were a vital factor in the winning of that competition.
Now Ian Ferguson will try the shot. He does! A look of anguish on the face, and you can hardly blame him. He did very well. And it goes to Ferguson. Great run by Ferguson here. Can he put it away out? Ian Ferguson, one chance in the game, and St Mirren are in the lead. The youngster getting this one opportunity, striding through, and with great calm, scoring the only goal of the game. And there it goes. St Mirren have won the cup.
That was obviously one of the greatest days of my life. Winning the Scottish Cup at 20-year-old, scoring the winning goal. You know, it was incredible.
Even greater glories were to follow when in February 1988, Ian signed for the club he had always wanted to play for, Rangers. However, the rumour factory had been in overdrive for several months, stating that Ian had been asked 3 times already by Rangers to sign.
The first time would have been enough. When speculation came about for me to join Rangers, it was I think it was the Daily Record and the Sun, and I went in and asked Alex Smith, and he said that it was just paper talk, so I just got on with it. But it was never going away. There was always speculation on the news, in the papers, people coming up and speaking to you, players phoning you. You know, it was never ending, and it went on for months and months, and I just had enough of it. And I just went in and seen Alec, and then Alec eventually said that there was interest, and from there on in I just knew where I wanted to go.
He didn't want to play for anybody else. I mean, his last game for St Mirren was at Ibrox, and he was waving to the Rangers supporters because he knew he was going to Ibrox, and nothing that I could have said or done was going to alter that. Graham Souness knew what he was wanting, but Walter Smith, they knew what he would do for Rangers.
Ian was one of those, when we signed him at the start, he had played up front, he had played as a striker, he had played wide and right for both Clyde and St Mirren, and as I say, up front, midfield was his favourite position, but funnily I hadn't played a great number of games in that position. When we got him, he was joining Derek Ferguson and Ian Durant, and we felt then that we had, you know, an outstanding young midfield trio there.
To Cooper, that's great goal! Oh, beautifully worked. But that really started with this excellent move by Ian Ferguson, who's been very quiet. Now watch this, the dummy and the finish that went, from that angle right through the goalkeeper.
Ian's signing was the most expensive between two Scottish clubs, but even such prestige didn't stave him from the welcome treatment at Ibrox.
I think the first team was off, and I was training with the young boys. I think it was John Spencer, David Hagan, all them, and but McCoist and Durant were lurking about, obviously from Glasgow. They came in and wished me all the best and that, and didn't think anything of it. Put my training kit on, and deep heat was in my pants. And before I knew it, I was running over to the training ground, burning. I couldn't get back. I was told to get over to the training ground and train. And then you come to Ibrox, this big, massive stadium with 50,000 people sitting in it. You know, it was overwhelming. It was absolutely incredible. And also, getting in, and no disrespect to Clyde or St Mirren, like getting in to train with Terry Butcher, Chris Woods, Ali McCoist, Ian Durant, you know, just was incredible. And it's still incredible getting through that door of the day after being there 11 years. It's still the same feeling I get getting in to train with the likes of these players.
Rangers lost the league in 1988, but Graham Souness was determined that the Ibrox side would fight back to their rightful place as Scotland's premier team.
Graham had a big meeting with all the players in the middle of the centre circle and just laid down the law and basically what he was looking for, and he got a great reaction.
Ray Wilkins will take the free kick. Goff is in the box once again. So is Butcher. Back to Brown. Blocked by McCarthy. There's McCoist. Deadly finishing by Ali McCoist. Goff and Butcher have gone up. It's launched in field by Stevens. There's Butcher. Back with Wilkins. Absolutely magnificent from Ray Wilkins. 10 minutes to half-time, and a goal which Ray Wilkins will never have bettered in an illustrious career. It's headed on by Rogan. Here's Durant retrieving it for Rangers. McCoist nods it on, an awkward one for Andrews. And the ball is in the net. It's a goal for Rangers. Durant takes the credit, but it's a disaster for Ian Andrews. Breaks off Ian Ferguson to stay. Tackle came from Ferguson, a good one at that. Winkle turning straight into Wood. McCoist to Walters. Walters now facing McCarthy. Getting in a fine cross. Kevin Winkle. Walters to Winkle. It's 4-1 to Rangers. White judging the fight well. Of Brown. Taken in trouble as Ali McCoist. Down he goes this time at Walters. Mark Walters makes it 5.
That was nice. I always remember an interview with Tommy Burns after it, and he just says, "Thank God it wasn't 7." And I think that's when Graham realised. You know, I thought Graham thought it was nice coming on as if you were taking the mick, like just passing the ball about and running over the ball and leaving it in dummies, and he thought that was great, and the crowd would play to that. But me, Coisty, Bomber, Girani, we were all raging. You know, it was one of the ones. Even though we'd won 5-1, we were happy, but you know, we just felt as though we'll never get a better opportunity. You know, there was still 20 minutes to go in that game when we had them rattled.
Even in his first full season at Ibrox, Ian was establishing himself as an invaluable part of the Rangers team, missing only 6 league games and scoring crucial goals. One of the most memorable was to bring Ian his first medal when Rangers met Aberdeen in the Skol Cup final.
Ferguson was a brilliant goal.
first goal came in the 4-1 victory in January.
Ferguson with the shot, is there?
No, I think it was just excitement running towards him, and then I was getting closer and closer, and I just said, "Oh, take a right, get away from there." And no, it was brilliant. Every Rangers fan, I'll tell you, there's nothing better than scoring against your old rivals.
With Ian ever present in midfield, Rangers now seem to be on course for the championship.
Comes towards Martin with that shot, McCoy's, and Ferguson did it. Brilliantly taken.
By April, the final games of the run-in were crucial. Remarkably, Rangers had not won at Parkhead for 9 years, but that, thanks to Ian, was about to change.
There's Ferguson with a shot. Oh, it's a brilliant one. And he's gone in. It's a second for Rangers. A superbly struck free kick there. It whistled and brilliantly saved or stopped. And Ali McCoy's just getting in the head in. Rangers are 2 up.
However, that result did not ensure the championship, and Rangers were determined not to lose sight of their goal.
Back to Ian Ferguson! A special from Ferguson, and Rangers go in front. Well, take a look at the power here. Played in by John Brown. Head flick on from Drinkle. Scrambled away by Cooper. Now just look at the stunning power and this right foot shot. Tearing the net out.
The 29th of April was to be an historic day for Rangers. It was the day they won the first of their remarkable 9-in-a-row victories, all of which and more Ian would be part of. Another great Ranger, John Brown, signed for Rangers 1 month earlier than Ian and still recalls the effect the 20-year-old had on the team.
If you were playing in the same team as Fergie, he would keep you on your toes because he's a moaner, and sometimes you say, sick of the sight of that guy, he's always shouting, but it's not just the moaning, it's the encouragement, it's come on, let's keep working away, and he'll do it for 90 minutes. And we had a group of boys then that got on to each other, but to channel it in the right way, and Ian was that type, and always felt playing at the back, and when you had him in the middle of the park, that it made my job easier.
It was a combination of the two Fergusons. Just look at this for an inventive pass from Ian Ferguson. It split the Aberdeen defence wide open. Derek Ferguson going through, and that finish leaving Snelders without a hope. And towards Weir. Here's Houghton. Keith Houghton for Hibs.
After the first 2 games of season 89-90, Rangers fans found their team in an unbelievable position, bottom of the Premier League. Already the media were calling it a crisis.
You've got to keep winning at Rangers, and that's something that's been drummed into us from day one with Graham and Walter. You've got to keep winning. You're 2 games away from a crisis here, and it's true. I like to think that I took it in my stride, you know. I just felt as though we would always come out it, and we did. And the team just went on from strength to strength from there on in.
Butcher waits. There's Butcher! Butcher for Rangers! 5 minutes gone! A dream start for Rangers!
Here's John Brown. John Brown, oh, great goal!
Corner not too decisive with the clearance. Here's Walters. Testing and teasing the Aberdeen defence. 1-0 to Rangers.
We had a fantastic squad. It was, at that time, mainly a British squad. A lot of Englishmen in the team. And you know the attitudes you get with the British type player. And there was a great camaraderie with the boys and willingness to work hard. That was the main bit that I felt.
That attitude paid dividends, and after a disappointing beginning to the season, Rangers went on to win the title by 7 points from Aberdeen, with Celtic finishing 5th.
And there it goes. Rangers are the champions.
That season also saw a major change for Rangers when Graham Souness signed Mo Johnson, who had been prematurely paraded at Parkhead as Celtic's latest acquisition.
Boris Johnston with a great chance.
He gave 100% from day one, and you know, and that for me was enough for me to show that he wasn't just coming for money. He wasn't wanting to just swanny about and then, you know, go away. But he was a big part of us winning the league one year because he scored really important goals for us, and it was accepted quite quickly, I think.
Rumours from the terraces said that Morris would never score against Celtic. That was disproved in spectacular fashion in a momentous match in November.
Johnston, and he scored!
I think it was on the 86th minute or something. I had no energy to go and chase him. Everybody was chasing him into the corner flag. But for me, I just went on my knees and I just looked at the Celtic fans, and it was, you know, it was incredible. It was brilliant to hear the noise and the sound and seeing everybody chase me more. And I just looked at the Celtic fans with a big smile, and it was brilliant.
But Ian's happiness was undermined by his own problems the following season. In many games, he simply seemed to be unfit. Doctors were unable to find a cause. Many fans thought that Ian was simply not performing to Rangers' standards.
And I know from experience, being booed and being, you know, jeered and whatever, there's nothing worse for a player. That is the most hurting thing that can happen to a player, is your own kind, or your own supporters going against you.
Eventually, Ian's illness was traced to a viral problem. He'd been ill for many months, but despite that, Graham Souness had stuck by his player.
Oh, he was good. Even though I was hurting, it was hard, and he kept saying to me, you know, you've got to get through this. It's a virus. You've been checked for this. There's nothing really that serious wrong. But I was running for about 10-15 minutes, and after that, I was no good to the team. I was dead. Rangers were playing with 10 men.
Ian eventually returned to full fitness, but Rangers had lost Graham Souness to Liverpool. For new manager Walter Smith and Ian Ferguson, the last games of the season were crucial.
This was a goal which depended on the courage of Ferguson.
Well, they've been putting on the pressure in the last couple of minutes, and Tom Cowans decides to throw it long. So United head that gets there, but that's a brave header.
Remarkably, Aberdeen had eaten away Rangers' lead, and the championship would be decided when both teams played on the last day of the season.
The atmosphere was incredible. You went out to your warm-up, the fans were singing and dancing. It was just an incredible feeling. You just knew, I knew that week that we weren't going to get beat. And I don't know why, I just always knew we weren't going to get beat.
That's good play by Stevens. Ryan Grant's header. And a fine first-time effort by Ferguson. Such power in that right foot. Headed away by Wright, only as far as Ferguson. But it was well taken by Ian Ferguson on his weaker foot, the left. Interception made by Wright. Here's Ferguson. Kimmy's clearance. Walters wants to bring the ball down and take on Wright. Going for the early cross. There's Hateley. It's a magnificent goal for Rangers.
Despite being decimated by injuries, Rangers had shown their true grit and won their third championship in a row, giving Ian Ferguson another medal for his growing collection. Under Walter Smith, the squad became a solid goal-scoring machine. In his first full season as manager, Rangers scored 101 league goals. It was the shape of things to come.
David Robertson retrieves the ball for Rangers. Ian Ferguson available just inside, trying to set himself a shooting chance. Oh, that's brilliant play from Ferguson. A goal of genuine quality and hugely enjoyed by the Rangers supporters. Dummy allows Gordon to take over. That's a great effort by Gordon. And by Hateley. Also on the line for Coyce in the inside right position. Here's Brown going all the way himself. That settles it. McCoist! In for Jordan. There's John Brown. Back it comes to Stevens. 2-0 to Rangers. Here's Haysley in the clear. It's a great chance for Rangers. Haysley against Bonner. Brilliant play from Haysley.
I think Fergie and myself are pretty much similar. You know, I think we're people's players. Not a lot of flair, but we get the job done. I mean, he puts his foot in, I put my foot in. You know, but you get the job done because you can rely on Ian. Ian, you know what you're going to get from Ian. You know you're going to get a solid performance. He's never going to pull out of a tackle, especially in an Old Firm game. You know, so you know, but that's what you get. You know what you get from Ian, and that's why he's been successful at Rangers.
That success continued through the next season, which many still regard as one of Rangers' best. The magnificent 5-in-a-row year when they swept the board in all 3 domestic tournaments.
It wasn't a team that if you went one down, you're like, oh, God, we're in trouble here. You just knew we would create chances, and that's what we did. And you knew Hateley and McCoist would be there, one of them to put it away. And it was just you went out in the park knowing that you were going to win. You just knew you were going to win.
Took this kick, but he's made a marvellous start to the game apart from his goal. Nice little touch there by Dale Gordon to Ian Ferguson. That's a good cross. Hateley's in there. Houstra! Peter Houstra makes it 2-0 to Rangers.
The team Rangers eventually beat into second place were Aberdeen. In their first clash of the season, the Ibrox side showed the determination that would take them to the treble.
Headed away by Gough, only as far as Aitken. And Aitken scores a sensational goal for Aberdeen. It took something special to open them up, and so far Rangers showing no signs of doing that. Now the fans getting more behind them. John Brown still well forward, chests it down to Durant. Mikhailichenko, Durant. Oh, wonderful goal by Ian Durant. Now it's Durant. Good ball through to Ali McCoist, who's onside. McCoist! 2-1 to Rangers!
Ian's first medal that year came when Rangers again met Aberdeen, this time in the Skol Cup final.
Oh, that's good play by Stuart McCall. Nice little dummy by Durant. Ferguson getting the ball at his right foot. Oh, it smacks off the post. Well, Ian Ferguson hitting a tremendous shot there, but it was some delightful play as well. It all began with McCall getting the ball to Durant, a lovely little dummy there, and then Ferguson with a right foot shot. Snelders had to hook with it at all, and coming back off the post. So that's a good clearance by Stephen Wright. McCall plays it to McCoist, to Durant. Some lovely close play here by Rangers. What? Oh, it's McCall! Stuart McCall for a blunder in the Aberdeen defence.
Even if we went behind, the spirit in the camp was tremendous, and we felt as though we'll just keep churning out results. And we got the victories. Maybe the performances weren't great, but the attitude in the squad was great, and that kept us going. And I think every team that season felt, well, wait a minute, we've scored against Rangers, they're going to come back. And we had a group there that were exceptional for about an 18-month period.
That team went on an incredible 44-game unbeaten run. But many people forget that the 3-foreigner rule was in place, making them one of the finest squads made up of mainly Scottish players in the club's history.
And they got him taking every advantage, finds Hateley. In comes Dale Gordon. Ali McCoist there. Here's Ian Durant. Ian Durant scores for Rangers. The pressure's still on. Stephen back to Brown. Making for the byline. Back with Ferguson. It's been coming for some time.
The next match against chasing club Aberdeen came at Ibrox in March. Rangers had to win to ensure the title. Once again, Ian Ferguson was there to deliver the victory.
Well, the pace just continues. This is great play by McCall. Paisley lays it off, it's Ferguson! That is a brilliant goal by Rangers. Brilliantly laid off by Paisley. It all began with persistent running by McCall. It was played through to Paisley and he laid it off to Ian Ferguson.
The championship was won at Airdrie after a gruelling season during which Ali McCoist broke his leg on international duty. But Ian made sure that Ali wouldn't miss out on the celebrations. Rangers had won an historic treble, and for Ian it was an emotional event, as it gave him the chance to fulfil a promise he made in 1988.
I had never been in the trophy room since I joined Rangers, and I says to them the only way I would go in is if we had the 3 cups in. And when you consider all the players in the past that went into that room, and you see all the medals and the cups, incredible as well, brilliant.
Like every great player at a great club, the pressures of the modern game can be enormous. Ian therefore places great importance on his family life with his wife Suzanne and children Stephanie and Jordan.
Well done.
Doesn't really bring it back home, do you? You used to. You used to.
You just. There's times you've got to have your family and times you've got to have your work, but you try and keep your football side to the football side and try and keep your family life for your family life.
Well, you don't get to do the normal things like going shopping and things like that. I don't think there's ever been a day we've went shopping together into the town.
Just when we've went home. You can't get in the town or you can't go shopping with them without somebody shouting things at you or saying things to you. And it's just the way I'm on now. I just don't like going shopping with.
You get used to it. You get used to going shopping yourself.
But to Stephanie and Jordan, their dad is just like any other father who leaves each morning for his work.
I don't think they realise. I mean, they know he plays for Rangers, but to them it's just his work. They don't realise
what Rangers actually is just now. They just think it's football. And they don't realise how big Rangers is.
No, they don't. It's just their daddy goes to work and that's it. I suppose when they get a wee bit older it'll be different because, you know, the kids at school talking about their daddy playing football, and it'll be that time
I'll be old.
You'll be old and you'll not be playing.
In September 1999, there was another addition to the Ferguson family when Chloe was born.
I've never had a boy, so at the end of the day it's not something that I miss. No, I'm delighted as long as she was healthy. That was the main thing. It would have been nice, but never happened. It's not one of the things I'd sit and moan about, oh, I should have had a boy. No, definitely not. Delighted with the 3 girls and that's it. And, well, 4 really, aye. But in years to come, you know, I've just got to think about another 3 investments because I've got 3 weddings to pay for.
No, just be a big difference for a daddy when he grows up and has 4 women to cope with in the house. No, she's been fine. A wee bit.
She's like her ma.
No, she's like her daddy. She's moany.
Back in 1993, Rangers were powering their way towards another title with the prospect of a back-to-back treble. And as usual, Ian was at the forefront of the campaign.
Ferguson! Rangers take the lead. Excellent play by Rangers. And Ian Ferguson puts them in front.
Quickly gets a touch. This is Mikhailichenko. And a chance on here for Ferguson! And Ian Ferguson gets Rangers the lead.
In the League Cup, Ian had scored in every round. In the quarter-final against Aberdeen, he was determined to continue that success.
The corner kick to Rangers. Scramble away to the edge of the area. Thundered home by Ferguson. He's been hovering there all And that was a magnificent strike with his left foot. Well, this is goal number 4 of the season for Ian Ferguson, and he'll never hit the ball more sweetly from that position. His weaker foot, would you believe it? Infringement. This is McCall. Now Haitley. Durant to Ferguson. Superb play by Rangers. Closed down by Slater. Race here. Durant with Galloway. Bit of wrestling there by Durant, was that? Haitley scores for Rangers. Ferguson to Durant. Haitley return pass. There's Durant. The opening goal for Rangers. So David Robertson will launch one perhaps into the penalty area here. The long throw looking for Haitley's flick on. That's McCoy with the acrobatic effort. McCoy does it for Rangers. He scores in the most spectacular fashion.
That victory gave Ian his 4th League Cup medal. The success was due to the now legendary Rangers team spirit, which united the whole squad. After returning to Ibrox, Ian was keen to show their all-for-one spirit. By now, Rangers and Ian Ferguson were always spoken of in the same breath. He had earned a reputation as a solid midfielder, but he never considered himself a hard or dirty player.
People say to me, oh, you try and hurt the man. But if you go back to your footage and see anything, you can find one bad tackle and me try to hurt a man. I've chucked football. I've always went for the ball and always tried to be fair for the ball. But, you know, people say, oh, he's high, he does this and he does that and he doesn't go for the ball and that. And that's what annoys me.
I've never seen Fergie going over the ball. So he's a hard player to play against, but that's the position he plays. If you look, all the best players in the world, you know, your midfielders, the ones that work their tail off, all graft and make sure they win the ball, then, you know, that is in their makeup. That's what managers want. Fergie had that in abundance. Tell you what, he's one of the first you'd want in your team.
I feel in football, if you fear a player and you fear it, then he's if he does something good against you, you start, you start to hang off him. But if you're in there tackling him and getting the ball and winning the ball, that gives you the upper hand, I feel anyway. And that's the way I was. I didn't like getting in fearing anybody. I just went in and tried to, I wouldn't say bully them, but try and intimidate them a wee bit more than what they would me.
That attitude and hunger to win is a hallmark of the great players who played in the light blue jersey. It gave the club its momentum and passion, driving it on to win championship after championship.
Laudrup was special. Laudrup would terrorise defences, full-backs, whatever. You know, he had the free roll, whether he could go in the middle or go wide. Again, he was a great provider for Mark Haitley. It was a great combination there with they two as well.
That season, every Rangers supporter wanted their team to crush the Celtic challenge. The Parkhead side could only manage 4th place, finally trailing Rangers by 18 points. But in mid-season, a good performance against Celtic was crucial. Again, Ian was there to provide another great performance.
Well, Miller could get in here. Ferguson does. Ian Ferguson against the run of play in truth, but Rangers lead.
Whenever Fergie appeared in the games, you felt as though you were in with a great shout to win. I know it takes 11 on the park, but there's certain players that you look to in the Old Firm games to upset certain ones. He was a big part over the years involved in the games.
In the late 1990s, Celtic had rebuilt their stadium to hold 60,000 fans. It is considered by some to be an intimidating venue for visiting players.
People say that to me, do you feel intimidated? You don't. You know, when the Gers Rangers, this wee bit in the corner where there's about 6,000-7,000, they make more noise than what the Celtic fans do. You actually can hear the Rangers fans more than what you can the Celtic fans. You want to play in these games. These are the games you want to play. These are the games you die for. You want to be in playing against Celtic. If you feel intimidated or overawed with the situation, you shouldn't be there.
Well, that's good play, good footwork. Looking for Cleland. Great header! Alan Cleland for Rangers!
We had a good dressing room there, with good characters in them. And I mean, Ian Ferguson, without a doubt, is a factor melder of Scottish football. Fergie moans about anything and everything. And that became a part of the dressing room. It's all right, it's just Fergie. But when it came to Celtic games, you knew there was an edge to his build-up to the game, when he would be kind of a bit like a bear with a sore head. And he always made sure that everybody was on edge for that game.
I might shout and bawl in the dressing room or whatever after games, or what, but it's just because if it's a defeat, I'm hurting, and that's my way of expressing it. You know, getting it out, try to get it out of my system as quickly as possible. But if you win, you know, it's a different kettle of fish. It's the most happiest feeling you can get in football, for me anyway. I've not had any better. I want Rangers to win all the time, because Celtic are our closest rivals, old rivals, and it's went on for many years, and it will continue to go on for many years. I don't beat about the bush.
That's good play by Solenko. McCoy says Gascoigne racing through the middle. It's great play for Rangers, and Gascoigne has scored!
It may seem unbelievable to some, but True Blue Ian was brought up in Janefield Street, literally in the shadow of Celtic Park.
This is where the house used to be in Janefield Street. As you can see, it's no longer here. A lot of great memories here. Growing up as a youngster, and Barrowfield just over there. I don't know if you can see it. And Parkhead's just here, as you can see how close I was to staying right next to Celtic Park. And I used to play football just over there in the graveyard, where there was a big gap, where it was sort of the way the gravestones were laid out, it was like goals and goal posts, so we used to have a kickabout over there with the boys. Being a Rangers fan and so close to them, and then actually playing for Rangers, you know, is something special for me anyway. As I've said to you, I don't think people realise how close I really was to Celtic Park. You know, you're talking 50 yards or so. Amazing. As I said, we really had a happy childhood here and really enjoyed it. Apart from that.
One of the most important Old Firm games in Ian's career came during Rangers' 9-in-a-row season. Mathematically, the result would not decide the championship, but Glasgow was like a pressure cooker that week. Both clubs and their supporters knew this match was the big one.
At that point, they had the chance. We were more concentrating on the 9 in a row and going for the league, and we stood up to be counted that day.
Ian Ferguson coming through, the goalkeeper's off his line. Rangers sensationally take the lead, and Stuart Kerr got into all kinds of difficulty here. It was Alberts who swept the ball through. It was Hitley with the Nori. He got the merest touch on it, and then Stubbs headed it into the path of Durant. The goalkeeper had already left his line. Malky Mackay had the chance to clear, but really it was blunderland there from Celtic. So again, Celtic push everyone forward. They don't have the height though to worry the Rangers defence. The final whistle sounds, and that wraps it up for Rangers.
The historic 9th title in a row was finally won at Tannadice, when at last the club could celebrate their great victory.
Miller's cross is a good one. That
It's Laudrup! It's a classic from Laudrup!
Oh, getting a 9. For me, they could never bring that back up to us again. Singing the 9 in a row songs, and even they still try this one, oh, we got it first. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We've equalled it. It doesn't matter when you get it. We've done it, and that's what counts. It meant everything to me.
The presentation, the League Championship trophy to Richard Goff of Rangers.
The following season brought the end of an era when manager Walter Smith and many key players who had been through everything together left the club.
That was really an emotional day. As I said, we knew it was the end of an era. You know, all these players that we were all brought up with June 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right up with a 9. You know, it was like part of your family was leaving you. And as I say, that's what it was like, because we were all like brothers. We went out together, we played together, we went to pubs together, we went for meals together. We done everything together, and knew that was just splitting up. Even Walter and Archie, you know, it was really sad. As I say, and I'm not ashamed to say it, you know, we all had a hug and a greet together, and everybody it was just really an emotional night.
But for Ian, there were even more glories ahead in season 98-99. Rangers won the League Cup and the League Championship. Only the Scottish Cup was left to complete a glorious treble.
And that was probably one of the best feelings I've had at Ibrox. To be out for 5.5 months and come back in to a Rangers Celtic, going for a treble, it says everything to me. That to me meant everything. That was fantastic. I can't put it into words how I feel, and it makes me want another treble as well, which was really important to me.
Vidmar, Wallace, and Rod Wallace again! That's the breakthrough! The final whistle goes. Rangers have won the treble.
In July 1999, Ian was awarded a testimonial match at Ibrox to mark his contribution over 11 years to the success of Rangers. The loyal fans turned out in their thousands to pay tribute to a great Rangers player.
Ian Ferguson, can he have a shot at goal? Looks for the 1-2, Moles, left foot, curls it through, and went against the thigh of Steve Bold, but drives it only as far as Barry Ferguson. Ferguson going forward. Can he find a shot? He's been credited, tries a shot at goal, and he scored! It's Ferguson Jr. who opens the scoring in Ibrox, and what a pitch it was too!
The testimonial, it's a great honour, and it's one of the biggest honours I'll get in my career, and a privilege to be honoured with this club, to get a testimonial. You know, when you consider the players that I've had them over the years, absolute honour for me. I can't say any more.
That honour was awarded not only for Ian's loyalty to Rangers, but for the skills he brought to his midfield position, which are underestimated by many.
I feel at times that he could have achieved much more if he would have been used in a more creative role than the role he was asked to do with Rangers. Rangers used him on many occasions as a ball winner, but he was also a very, very good footballer. But Rangers always had people like Graham himself, Ray Wilkins, Gascoigne, really big players who played in there. So Ian had to be a supporting player to these type. Never well went on and become as good, if not better, than one or two of them.
I take my hat off to Fergie. He's seen it out. He had critics, as Ali McCoy's had in his early stages, but McCoy is one of the all-time heroes at Ibrox, a legend, and Fergie is too. And he deserves to be with the amount of games he's played and the things he's won. And to win all these medals, I've always said he's got that winning mentality.
But for Ian, one of the most important factors in his success has been the Rangers fans, who have stuck with them through the good times and the bad.
You appreciate these boys when you win things for these people. It really, and when you see the joy in their faces, you know, and it's incredible. They're so happy over the moon, and it's just nice. I kick at it. You just can't put into words what it means to these people. And I know, because I've been a Rangers fan and I've seen Rangers lift cups.
Finally, in January 2000, like so many great players before him, Ian left Rangers for the last time.
It was quite an emotional day, actually. I went away on Sunday to collect my boots because I knew I wouldn't go back. But it was hard. I must admit, that was the saddest moment when I was collecting my boots. And I'm glad, in a way, that there was nobody there. Just went in, picked them up, had a wee look about, and then obviously disappeared. But, you know, as I said, there's a lot. I've got a lot of good friends there, you know, and I'll go back and see them, you know, right for the top, right down to the bottom.
His new home was Dunfermline, where in his second game, he showed that he'd lost none of his hunger for success. Ian realised that signing for Dunfermline and dropping down a division was not going to be an easy option, even for a player of his experience.
Well, I'm under no illusions here. I know it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. You know, there's going to be players wanting to play against you every week. It'll be because of the reputation of being with Rangers, and they'll be up for it, you know. And I've just got to combat that. At the end of the day, you know, the manager, if he doesn't think I'm pulling my weight or he doesn't think I'm doing my job, then obviously I'll be out. It's as simple as that. But I'm hoping that I can do my job, and I'm hoping to get back playing maybe 4 or 5 games. Then the Dunfermline fans will maybe see the best of Ian Ferguson starting to get playing again.
Every team in the country, maybe apart from Rangers, Celtic at this moment, are looking for players like that. You know, not only his football quality, which is undoubted, but his leadership and his will to win. And that's why we signed him, because we badly needed somebody like that. He's got to be Jimmy Nicholl and my right-hand man on the pitch, to be honest.
Fella's enthusiastic, loves the game, and I'm sure will want to play the game for as long as he can. Fit, looks after himself. Don't know what other bad habits he has, but I know he doesn't drink, but I'm sure he's got other things up his sleeve that might shorten his career. But I don't think so. I mean, there's a difference in being experienced and over the hill. There's no point in being experienced and he can't run. If he keeps his fitness and his enthusiasm for the game, he'll certainly do it. I hope he does a job for Dunfermline the next few years, and maybe even longer.
Since the foundation of Rangers, there have been very few players who have achieved the success of Ian Ferguson. No matter what his future holds, he will always be regarded as one of the greatest Rangers in the club's proud history.